I got a new backpack today, don't I? You ready to see what your surprise is? Show our friends at home the new backpack. Okay.
It's gonna be like that.
A giant bumblebee. Okay. Aw, you're gonna love this one.
It's a puppy.
It's a puppy. This is a Chihuahua. This is Paquito Tito. She's the smallest of the small ones. You're gonna see her in our story today.
What the
Okay. Oh, this is cool.
What is that?
Who wears a cape?
A superhero.
A superhero. Do you think we're gonna have a superhero in our story today? What else does a superhero wear?
A hospital. Or a superhero.
A superhero mask?
Yeah. He's a costume. Oh. What's those? You can change like a superhero.
How do I look?
Not like a superhero.
Oh, look what else is in here.
Ears.
They're giant ears, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like he took a ball.
Okay, you ready to see our superhero?
Yeah. It's gonna be that cat.
Hey, Skylar, can you leave your shoes alone for me?
Yeah, but I'm getting them all right. What's that?
Do you know who this is?
No.
This is Skippy John Jones.
I know him.
And he loves to use his imagination. And you know what he likes to pretend to be?
Yeah,
A superhero. But he likes to pretend to be other kinds of animals. His favorite animal he likes to pretend to be is a Chihuahua.
What?
And what kind of an animal is a Chihuahua?
He likes to play tree. Dog.
A dog, right? So he is actually a Siamese cat. He's a cat, but he likes to pretend to be a dog. And he likes to pretend to be a superhero dog. So he puts on his cape and his mask, and he gets out his toy sword, and he becomes Skippito, Friskito, the great sword fighter! So we're going to have a superhero in our story today. And guess who he tries to save, or what he tries to save from the bad guys?
A diamond.
The bad guys are stealing their frijoles, even their jelly beans. What are frijoles? Beans, yeah. They tried to steal their beans. Now, since Skippy John Jones, gotta think about what I have on. Since Skippy John Jones likes to pretend to be a Chihuahua, he likes to pretend that he knows how to speak Spanish. He doesn't really know how to speak Spanish. So he's kind of silly when he tries to speak Spanish. And he makes me giggle when I'm reading his story.
You mean this?
So, let's find out what happens today in our story. Let me put my face shield on so you can hear me a little better. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right, let me show you his book. Skippy John Jones by Judy Shatner. Now remember, when I'm reading you a story in the library, I want you to sit crisscross applesauce, hands in your lap.
Or like a mermaid.
Or like a mermaid. Voices turned off, ears turned on, eyes on the book. Skippy John Jones by Judy Shatner. Every morning, Skippy John Jones woke up with the birds. And this did not please his mother at all. "Get yourself down here right now, Mr. Kitten Britches," ordered Mama Junebug Jones.
What did he do?
"No self-respecting cat ever slept with a flock of birds," she scolded, "or ate worms, or flew, or did his laundry in Mrs. Doohickeys' bird bath." Skippy John Jones in trouble? Why is he in trouble? He was up where?
In a tree.
In a tree, pretending to be a bird. She was worried about him, wasn't she, that he wouldn't be safe. The lecture went on and on as usual. You've got to do some serious thinking before you leave this room, Mr. Fuzzy Pants, said his mother, about just what it means to be a cat. Not a bird, not a mouse or a grouse, not a moose or a goose, not a rat or a bat. You need to think about just what it means to be a Siamese cat. And stay out of your closet, she added, closing his bedroom door. Now, why is he in timeout?
He in the tree.
Yeah, he's up in the tree. What did Mama want him to think about?
Not playing the tree.
Yeah, she wanted him to think about being
No.
not a dog,
Yeah.
a cat. Yeah, she said she wants him to think about being a cat. Miss Jackson, I think some of my friends might need some help with some shoes.
Oh, nothing.
And why did she say to stay out of your closet?
They don't want nobody in the closet.
Why do you think she said don't go in your closet?
He don't want him.
Just a minute. Raise your hand if you think you know. And what do you think?
Because there's clothes in there.
There could be clothes in there. When you are in timeout, do you get to play?
No.
Well, all his toys are in his closet. So why do you think Mama said don't go in your closet? So he can't play, right? But once he was alone, Skippy John Jones began to bounce and bounce and bounce on his big boy bed.
What?
Leave your shoes alone, okay? Is it safe to bounce on your bed?
No.
No, that's not safe at all.
Yeah, let's
Oh, I'm Skippy John Jones and I bounce on my bed. And once or 6 times, I land on my head.
What? Yeah, we read it.
On his way down to earth from a gigantic big bounce, Skippy John Jones shot past his bedroom mirror. What do you think he saw?
A bird.
Holy guacamole, he exclaimed. What was that? So up he went again, and again it appeared. What does he see?
A dog.
A chihuahua. Then, using his very best Spanish accent, he said, My ears are too big for my head. My head is too big for my body. I am not a Siamese cat. I am a chihuahua. Back on land, Skippy John Jones climbed into his toy box and rifled through some of his old junk. After he put on his mask and sword and climbed onto his mouse, Skippy John Jones began to sing in a muy soft voice. Oh, my name is Skippito Frisquito. I fear not a single bandito. My manners are mellow, sweet like the jello. I get the job done, yes, indeedo. Now back in the kitchen, Jujubee Jezebel and Jillyboo Jones were helping Mama Junebug Jones make lunch. Can Skippy John come out of his room now? Asked Jujubee. No, answered Mama Junebug Jones. Mr. Fluffernutter is still thinking.
Mr. Fluffernutter?
In fact, Skippy John wasn't thinking about being a Siamese cat at all. What's he thinking about?
A chihuahua.
With a walk into his closet, his imagination took him down a lonesome desert road, far, far away in old Mexico.
What?
Not long into his journey, a mysterioso band of Chihuahuas appeared out of the dust. Ay caramba, who goes there? Asked Skippy John Jones. We go by the name of Los Jimmy Jangles, growled Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones. Who are you? I am El Skipito, the great sword fighter, said Skippy John Jones. Then the smallest of the small ones spoke up. Remember we met her? Wait a mosquito, dude, asked Paquito. I go incognito, said Skipito. What do you like, rice and beans? Asked Pintolito. See, I love mice and beans, said Skipito. He might be the dog of our dreams, whispered Rosalita. Perhaps, said Tia Mia, if he knows the secret password. Do you think he'll know the secret password?
No.
Leaning toward Don Diego, El Scapito half sneezed, half spoke the secret password into the Chihuahua's very large ear. Ah, ah, Chupichu. Bless you, said Don Diego. Gracias, said Scapito. Then it is true, decreed Don Diego. Yip, yippee, yippee-do. It's the end of Alfredo Buzzito. Skippito is here. We have nothing to fear. Adios to the bad Bumblebeeto. And then all of the chimichangas went crazy loco. First, they had a fiesta. What's a fiesta? A party. And then they took a siesta. Asleep. But after waking up, the chimichangos got down to serious business. Using his paw, Don Diego drew a picture in the sand of the great Bumblebeeto for Skippito to see. A hush grew over the chimichangos so great, one could hear a whisker drop. Alfredo Buzzito, whispered the crowd. El blimpo Bumblebeeto Bandito. Sí, said Paquito Tito. The bandito steals our frijoles. Not your beans, cried Skippito outraged. See, Paquito continued. Red beans, black beans, Boston baked and blue, cocoa, coffee, kidney beans, pito, and jelly beans too. And now he comes for us, Paquito added. ¿Por qué? Said Skippito. Because we are full of the beans too. Then Don Diego stood tall and in his most somber voice declared, Yo quiero frijoles. Huh? Asked Skippito. The dude just wants his bean back, said Paquito Tito. And you are the dog for the job. Me? Asked Skippito. Then all of the chimichangos turned towards Skippito, the great sword fighter. But poor Skippito had no time for a plan, because in the blink of an eye, a gigantic shadow darkened the landscape. The chimichangos scattered in all directions. Vamos, Skippito! Or it is you, the bandito, will eato, they cried. Skippito stood his ground, but his legs shivered and shook like the jello, and his teeth chattered like the castanets. And then in a muy soft voice he said, My name is Skippito Frisquito. I fear not a single bandito. But Alfredo Buzzito flew straight for Skippito until the bean-eating banditos hovered only inches away from the great sword fighter's face. Hole, Fred, hole! Cried Skippito as he thrust his sword into the air. And suddenly, pop, went the bambito, landing on Skippito's sword. And quicker than one can say Chihuahua's cheese and crackers, every kind of bean came spilling out of Alfredo Buzzito, the Bumblebeeto Bandito.
It's a big one. It's the same one with you.
Then all the doggies burst into song. Yip, yippee, yippee-do. Our hero is El Scapito. He's the dog of our dreams who delivered the beans. And now we can make our burritos.
Oh no.
But back at home, there was such a ruckus coming from Skippy John's room that Mama Junebug Jones and the girls just had to find out what was going on. They raced down the hall to the kitty boy's room. Benguito, Crashito, Papito, Skippito! Just in time to see Skippy John's closet exploding. Then out flew Candy, beanbag doggies, and the kitty boy with his birthday piñata on his head. Skippy John Jones, everyone cried. Hola, muchachitas, he said in a muy soft voice. So what was the Bumblebeeto Bandito really?
A bee.
It was in the shape of a bee, but what was it for his birthday?
It was piñata.
A piñata. Was he using his imagination?
Yeah.
Mama Junebug Jones lifted up Skippy John and covered his head with furry kisses. What am I going to do with you, Mr. Cocoa Pugs? She scolded. That night, when he was supposed to be going to sleep, Skippy John began to bounce on his big boy bed. Oh, I'm Skippy John Jones with a mind of my own, and I'll bounce on my bed for hours. I know I'm a cat, but forget about that. Say goodnight, Skippy John Jones, said his mama. Buenas noches, mi amigos, said Skippy John Jones. Was Skippy John Jones very good at using his paws?
No.
Do you think he was using his A?
No.
Act respectfully and responsibly?
No.
Was he being respectful toward his mama?
No.
Was he following her directions?
No.
No, he wasn't thinking about being a Siamese cat at all, was he?
No.
Well, you know what else he has trouble doing? Taking care of his library book. I have a video I want you to watch now about when Skippy John Jones went to the library. Have you been doing a good job taking care of your library book at home?
Yeah.
Did everybody find a safe place to keep your library book?
Yeah.